Lions News Fan Report. The NFL is a ruthless business. Players come and go. Some stars become legends, while others are only remembered for brief stints. Carlton Davis, one of the most respected cornerbacks in the market, now finds himself at the center of this unforgiving dynamic. His departure from the Detroit Lions seemed unlikely just months ago, but the gears of the market started turning, and suddenly, his future with the franchise slipped away, like sand through his fingers. What happened? Did the Lions really try to keep him, or did they always know he wouldn't stay? Was the decision to let him go justified, or is it a mistake that could cost the team's defense dearly? The answer to these questions could define the Detroit Lions next season. To better understand this story, we need to go back a bit in time. Carlton Davis arrived at the Buccaneers as a promising talent, and his ability quickly turned him into one of the NFL's most reliable cornerbacks in 2022, when he became a free agent for the first time. The decision was swift. He signed a 3-year contract to stay in Tampa Bay. Looking back now, he admits he was impulsive. At the time, I felt I had to act quickly and accept the best offer available, Davis told The Athletic. Now I see that teams know your value, and patience might be the key to getting a really fair deal. He felt the market pressured him then, and that rush may have cost him millions of dollars. But this time, he's not willing to make the same mistake. Davis' mindset is different now. This time, I'm not settling for less, he stated. And for him, less means a contract that places him among the top 15 cornerbacks in the league, with salaries around $19 million a year. However, this amount was far beyond what the Lions were willing to pay. According to reporter Dave Burkett of the Detroit Free Press, the franchise is looking to spend less than the $12 to $14 million Davis could receive on the open market. This financial disparity seems to have sealed the player's fate in Detroit. In the season, coach Dan Campbell made statements suggesting Davis could be part of the team's future. Campbell built a culture of unity and collective effort, and players like Davis seemed to fit perfectly into that system. However, as the offseason progressed, the signals started to shift. Talks about retaining talent became more vague, while rumors emerged that the team would not make an aggressive offer to keep Davis. As the Lions decided on their course, Davis already seemed to be planning his departure. An enigmatic message posted on his social media indicated he was open to new opportunities. Soon after, reports linked his name to various franchises, including the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. His connection with Aaron Glenn, the Lions' former defensive coordinator, makes the Jets a natural destination. But other teams are also likely to enter the race. With so many franchises in need of defensive reinforcements, the trend is that Davis will have multiple offers on the table. If there were any doubts about Davis staying in Detroit, his own words dispelled any uncertainty. Not only did he express his intention to pursue a more lucrative contract, but he also made it clear that he doesn't believe the Lions will make any real effort to bring him back. His tone, far from being resentful, conveys the conviction of a player who understands his value and knows that the NFL is a business where emotions rarely play a part in negotiations. Davis' departure, however, leaves the Lions with a problem. The defense needs talent and experience to face elite quarterbacks and increasingly dynamic offenses. Replacing Davis won't be easy, and fans are already starting to question whether the decision not to invest in keeping him was really the right one. The pressure now falls on the front office, which will need to act quickly to fill this gap without compromising the team's budget. The NFL is an extremely competitive league, and any weakness can be exploited by opponents. Will the Lions be able to find a solution that measures up, or are they risking their defense by not prioritizing such a talented player? The impact of Davis' departure could be even deeper than it seems at first glance. Beyond individual talent, the cohesion of the defense could be shaken. The Lions' secondary had been evolving steadily, and losing a player like Davis could create a domino effect, requiring adjustments to strategy and new signings. Will the replacements have the same game-reading ability? Will they maintain the same defensive intensity? The answers to these questions will only be known when the season starts, but the concern is already real among fans. Another point to consider is the emotional factor. Players aren't just pieces on a chessboard. They build bonds within the team, becoming leaders in the locker room. Losing an important name can destabilize the group, especially when it's a departure that could have been avoided with greater effort from the front office. How will the other players react to this change? Will the team's internal environment suffer a negative impact? These are questions that could affect the Lions' performance throughout the season. Looking ahead, the Lions will need to carefully assess the remaining free agent cornerbacks and whether they can find a suitable replacement for Davis. However, it's not just about filling the gap on paper. The player that takes Davis's place must also be able to step into a leadership role, something Davis had come to embody. The emotional intelligence and experience he brought to the defense will be difficult to replicate. This void may require the team to rethink its defensive strategies in order to avoid regression. Additionally, the Lions' draft plans may be impacted by Davis' departure. With the loss of a key player in the secondary, the Lions may look to invest in a young cornerback through the draft. While the draft is always unpredictable, selecting the right player could significantly alter the trajectory of the defense. The front office will have to be meticulous in its scouting and decision-making to ensure that they don't waste a valuable draft pick. The overall impact of this decision goes beyond the defense. The front office has a long-term vision, but it's essential to balance the present and future. The Lions have not been in playoff contention for a while, and the risk of taking a step back by losing an experienced cornerback like Davis may ultimately cost them. When it comes to the critical moments of the season, it's not just the fans who are feeling the weight of this decision. Other players in the locker room are undoubtedly watching closely to see how the front office handles this. Davis was a respected leader, and his departure may signal to the team that business decisions take precedence over player relationships. How the Lions respond to this will impact the culture they've built under Campbell's leadership. Some argue that the Lions should have been more aggressive in negotiating with Davis, given the impact he had on the field. However, the financial constraints of the team cannot be ignored. While it's easy to point fingers, the reality is that managing a team within the salary cap is an incredibly delicate balance. In the long run, the success of this decision may not be immediately visible. It could take years to fully understand the ramifications of letting Davis go, especially if the Lions' defense struggles to find stability without him. Only time will tell if this was a necessary move or a costly error. What remains now is to watch the next steps of the Detroit Lions. Will the franchise invest in cheaper reinforcements? Will they seek talent in the draft? Will they make any unexpected moves in free agency? Whatever the case may be, the decision not to fight for Carlton Davis' retention has been made, and now the fans can only hope this choice doesn't turn into regret down the line. Despite the potential struggles in replacing Davis, the Lions have shown they can make impactful decisions in previous years. Their commitment to rebuilding the team has been clear, and the front office's ability to identify value in the draft and free agency will be put to the test once again. The loss of a key player like Davis isn't ideal, but it's not a death sentence for the team's defense. With smart moves, the Lions could still field a competitive unit next season. Additionally, the Lions' focus on the future means that they may be willing to take calculated risks, knowing that their current roster is a work in progress. They've invested in young talent across various positions, and this could be the moment where those players are asked to step up. It might not be a smooth transition, but the Lions' success will depend on their ability to develop their existing players while integrating new faces into the lineup. And you, fan, what do you think of this decision? Should the franchise have made a greater effort to keep Carlton Davis, or was his departure inevitable within the team's financial planning? Comment below and join the discussion. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated with all the Lions news, don't forget to subscribe to the Lions News Fan Report channel and turn on notifications.